I guess I have like maybe kind of two ways to think about it. So on the one hand, I'm actually really excited to see hip hop, quote unquote, at a level, right? In the sense of, I remember, I'm 51. I'm the same age as hip hop. So I remember growing up and them saying, "Oh, it's just a fad. This is gonna pass," type of thing. And then to see Missy Elliott be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Okay, on that level, like in that Matrix world, all that stuff's deserved. All that stuff's great. I do think though, in the land of, if we're, I mean, and I'm kind of going off the buying power book, if we're looking at it in the land of like, where, like, has hip hop actually, like, there's lots of attribution that like hip hop has, like, caused us to be elevated, right? Like, look at, like, Obama became president because of hip hop. Like, there's all these type of things, right? And so in the reality, like, in the material world, no, hip hop has not saved us. I would say that I appreciate hip hop, as a hardcore hip hop head. I would say hip hop has not saved us. And so I will never like conflate um all the ways in which we need to have access to all the things we need to have access to. I don't think that hip hop has, quote unquote, done that for us. And I do agree when you're talking about this aspirational part of where we're supposed to look at, well, look at, Jay and Bay, and they represent us. And so look what hip hop did and look at where we are. I agree with you. Like, I reject that. Like, I wholeheartedly reject that to the fullest. I will say though, what I do like in this moment of hip hop, like all the tributes and everything, I do like where the spaces that I've been in, where as I get hired a lot to DJ a lot of these like nonprofit spaces, right? And when I'm there, I do see them using it to do a lot of I'll say acknowledgement around the work that needs to be done. And so by that, like, I was at a racial justice conference DJing. They had, 3-4 days of all this racial justice stuff, and I did a presentation on the history of women in hip hop. And I do like that they were looking at the 50th anniversary as to see how can we do better? Like, what are the ways in which we can do better? I like that. Like, I like that aspect of the 50th. Like, looking back, I like the whole D Barnes part in the what is it? The documentary that you
Well, that
Dreams
was the thing.
documentary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that was the thing. They didn't talk about. There was more discussion of what happened with her and what happened with the other sister. Now I'm forgetting her name. That Kalanji also
Oh
interviewed.
yeah.
With like they
What's
didn't
her
talk
name?
about that with Russell at all.
No,
Like
they skated.
she.
They skated around that. But I guess what I'm saying, I like that. So that we're, I mean, they didn't do it specifically, but what I've seen, because I went to U of M to do a talk, because I teach inside of, I'm not a professor, but I'm teaching artists inside of University of Michigan. They have a hip hop history class inside of there. I think it's called Africana Studies or something like that. But inside there, I was talking to some students and asking them, and oh, ladies first, that's what it was. And interestingly enough, a lot of those young people, like, and obviously because of the way hip hop is presented, they had no idea about much of the history, right, of hip hop, like, at all. So for them, they were. I almost had to do like a disclaimer alert, because watched at least 200-300 people in this lecture hall go when because I kind of casually mentioned it, right? Because I'm kind of thinking, oh, everybody saw this lady's first documentary, and when I casually mentioned that, Dr. Dre beat the brakes off of this woman, like, the whole class was like, what? And we had to stop there because they were like, oh my God. Like, they had never heard of this, right? They didn't know anything about this. So what I do think, and not to like demonize an individual, but like, I guess what I'm saying is, like, within the context historically, in my experience, I don't think that we've ever really talked about a lot of the challenges in hip hop until till this 50th. Now there have been scholars and there have been our Trisha Rose has been out there for us. You know what I'm saying? Thank you. You know what I'm saying? I know, but you have but I'm putting things in context. I'm putting things in
That
context.
that's
I'm
that
I'm
early work. Let me just be clear because I know I made a face.
yeah.
Let me just be clear. That early work from Trisha Rose is essential. I'm not going to
I'm
front on
talking
that.
about the early work. I'm talking about the
The Hip
early
Hop
work.
Wars
Yeah,
book I have
exactly.
endless problems with, but I don't agree with what, and we can talk about it if you want, but I don't agree with that at all. Her approach that I thought was had a lot of problems, but a lot of her early work I definitely, I mean, I you're right, she's Black Noise, uh,
Yeah. I
and
mean,
the
there's a
early
lot of
articles about the
yeah,
abuse, the media representation of violence to get rid of hip hop from venues and all. Like she did a lot of important work. So, but
yeah.
it's that I just anyway. Okay,
I mean,
just to
all our
clarify.
icons are problematic. I don't know what to tell you.
Like my man, like Rashad Dobbins from Cordell West Theory said in that track that ear doctors that and some of you in the audience rejected as what should be our anthem. He said some of our icons shouldn't have their mics on.